Well, hello! I want to welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This week is really exciting, for me at least, because my laptop is finally fixed. And I'll try and find a picture and throw up right here to show you what I've been putting up with for not quite a year, but close to a year. It has been horrible. It's like having a new computer again. This is a 2013 computer, so yeah. I plan to keep this computer for at least another 4 to 5 years, so I'm really happy. Expensive because it's an Apple, but yeah. So, without further ado, let's look at the pens that are in use, and then I'll do some talking toward the end of the video. So I have a Lanxivi Crocodile pen, which I just reviewed, and oh wow, is that amazing. Lamy 2000, my daily writer. Parker Vector. Drawing a blank there. Platinum 3776 with a soft fine nib. Pilot 823. This one here is a really complicated name. Lanxivi Hero 767 color paint jewelry pen, which is an upcoming review. Actually, the Lamy, the Parker, and the Pilot are also part of an upcoming video. I have a Noodler's Neponset with a Neponset re-entry nib in it. This is the Algonquin finish, which I'll talk about that when I get to that pen. This is a Schneider ID. Waterman's Ideal 52. Pilot Justus 95. And then, of course, I always have this ballpoint that I bought from a student of mine who's now a sophomore in high school, but he was an 8th grader then. And a random pen that I can use to write on my iPad, which I never do. All right, so let's talk pens. And then we'll hit some of the other topics. So it is exciting to have this laptop working again. Because I'll just tell you, it is typing things, editing photos, editing videos, just surfing the web. I don't care what it is. So much easier when 1/3 of the screen isn't black and the other 2/3 aren't covered with lines. So my last pens in use was March 10th. I kind of took a break in there because I was just giving up and the laptop was off for repair. So since this is the pen that is first, we'll do a pens in use with the pen I just reviewed. I know I didn't used to put title here, but I guess I am now. Today is March 31st, 2017. So the first one is the Lanxivi. And I guess I can zoom in and maybe dial up the brightness just a bit. I had the brightness dialed down because you couldn't see the color of some of the pens. Oh my, that may be a little bit too bright. Let's try it, see what happens when I focus. We'll go with it. This is a Lanxivi Crocodile pen. This is a very nice finish. It says celluloid in the brand name, but I don't actually believe it is. And the ink is Noodler's Dragon's Napalm, which actually looks like mercurochrome, which is an antiseptic. And actually, there's a video out there. It was entered in a contest. It's a blob of this ink that comes to life. That's kind of a cool video. I entered in the same contest with a much lower quality video, which you can find on my channel. I won't help you find it because it's pretty bad. All right, I'm going to not go in the order that the pens are. There's a reason. I'll talk about the reason in a bit here. This here is my Platinum 3776, a model I have grown to love. And this is a soft, fine nib. Pens and Tea actually did a nice video this week where she talked about the difference between the soft fine and the regular fine. So if I remember, I'll try and put a link. I learned how to do cards and such. The ink is some kind of black ink, but I don't remember which one. I'm trying out a bunch of black inks. Oh, Pelican Edelstein Onyx. Pelican? Something like that. I can't remember if this gentleman allowed me to use his name. People comment by name on YouTube. I use their names because it's public anyway. But I can't remember if he allowed me. So I'll just use his first name. His name is Jean. He's from Quebec, Canada. He's corrected me on pronunciation of a few words over the last few months, which has been very helpful. Edelstein, he's not corrected me on because I've never used that word on this channel before. Pelican, I believe, is one of them. Mont Blanc is one, except I'm supposed to say it Mont Blanc. Anyway, the finish on that pen is another one, but I've forgotten how I'm supposed to pronounce it, so I'm just going to not embarrass myself and I won't pronounce it. But it's a certain red wine color. Alright, skipping around here for reasons you'll see in a bit. This puppy here, interesting pen. Not like what I expected at all from the description and photos on Amazon. I actually honestly expected that, I don't know why, I didn't think it would be shiny. And for some reason I thought it would have a plastic body and these would be plastic panels in it. Turns out to be brass with paint on it. So a more typical Chinese pen. And I have to look up the name of this one because that's not one I can remember. If I use it long enough, probably, but, well, when I get to the review, we'll talk about that part of it. But this is an interesting name, and I'll tell you why when I get there. It's a Lanxivi. I forgot the N. Wow, IVI, sorry. Hero, which is the weird part, 767 color pane jewelry. So I've noticed the word Lanxivi in combination with Hero and with Jinhao so far. I don't know why. The nib is a Hero nib, but you can't see it. Well, maybe you sort of can. Stupid me, I demonstrated the magnifier and left the light turned on. And now, several days later, I've realized that, and the battery is dead. So I've got to get new batteries before I can continue to use the magnifier. Awkward. But anyway, so I'm wondering if Lanxivi has, if it's their luxury version of all those, or what exactly. I don't know. The ink is interesting. It's Robert Oster Fire and Ice. Now, this is supposed to have a very reddish sheen. I have seen it, if I really pull the ink on, not necessarily on this paper, but on Tomoe River paper. But honestly, I'm not seeing a lot of sheen, so I don't know if it's the pen or if it's not as sheeny as advertised. I'm a little disappointed in it, honestly. The color's okay, but I have that color, basically. Alright, this pen, I wish I had not killed the battery on my magnifier. This is a Noodler's Neponset, which comes with a music nib. I believe this is the Algonquin finish. I'll just mention that this color ink, I distinctly, or not ink, I apologize. This color green, I distinctly remember as a kid having a crayon in my box that was called pea green that was about this color, and I've always thought it'd be kind of cool to have an ink this color. Haven't found it yet, but would be cool. But I have the feeling I'd be disappointed because it probably wouldn't be a good writing ink because it's so light. I don't know. But anyway, I won't try and spell Algonquin without something to look at. So we'll just go with, and I am actually going to zoom in, but I can't magnify, so we'll just go with this. We'll try that again. Alright, so this is a re-entry nib. They do that bluing. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that, I apologize. They do that bluing to kind of make it blue. That fire look. Alright, so pull this back. Focus. So this is a Noodler's Neponset. I kind of hoped that with the music feed and then a 0.6 millimeter nib. I'd get something amazing out of it, but so far no. So I have a 0.6 Nemosine re-entry nib in it. And the ink is bookbinders. I bought a full set of their inks, not the inks themselves, but the samples, just to try them out, because I do like their black. So far they've been kind of a letdown. This isn't a bad color, but I've got other colors like this. So I don't see myself buying a bottle of this. Blue, coral, snake. And I think snakes are cool. Some of them are very pretty. But, yeah, the ink isn't really doing it for me. Also inked up, this is an interesting pen. This is a Schneider. We'll put it under the camera. It's a Schneider ID. It's a lower cost pen. I got this one for about $20. Has a rubbery cap, a rubberized grip with a... When I review this down the road, I'll have to talk about that. Interesting shape to it anyway. Where I bought it, there was no choice in nib size, but this screams broad to me. And the ink is Noodler's Waterman Rose. I just kind of like the vague sort of raspberry / blackberry color. I think they actually call it blueberry, but whatever. And the smoky barrel, but it is actually translucent, which when I review it, I'll show you. It's turned out to be an excellent, excellent writer. I like writing with that thing. Chris Rapp 52 sent me this a long time ago, trying to get me into vintage. I had just barely started my vintage voyage, and he encouraged me with several pens. This is one of them. Probably from the teens or 20s. It's a Waterman's Ideal 52. Has definitely seen life. There should be a clip up here. It has come off. It should be a black pen. It's more an olive green color, but, you know, here's what you're doing with these pens. We're writing. It's a Waterman's Ideal 52. The ink is a Monte Grappa, which is an amazing ink. I love the color on this, and in this pen it's really stunning. And it's a Bordeaux. And actually, true story, this ink I think is what caused Jean from Quebec to first contact me. Because I wrote the name of this ink with a U right there, and he couldn't handle that. So that's been kind of interesting. I've kind of neglected my emails with him, honestly, lately. I've been kind of busy, which I'll come back to that in a little bit. My next pen is one of my babies. This is a Pilot Justus 95. I have it set on the soft setting. If you remember back, I did show you both on the March 10th. I won't do both this time. And by the way, well, there are 2 pens out of that list that are still inked up. This is one of them. But in fairness, I have re-inked this one. So it's a Pilot Justus 95. And it's on the soft, fine setting. And the ink is a discontinued Sailor Epinard. Oops. Get it under the camera so you can actually look at it. Now, this week, my review plans are that Colored Pane Jewelry pen. I thought I would get to it, but maybe not. My other review, I plan to film a rodeo, so that's 2 weeks worth of reviews. We'll see when I get to them. Maybe yet tonight. The time is at 9:15, and I still need to do laundry, so I may be up a little late doing a review. So I plan a rodeo of daily writers, but I think I want to write notes a little bit longer so I figure out some representative. This is my voyage of daily writers. The one in the middle, the Parker Vector, was my daily writer, beginning in 4th grade, up through many years of adulthood. I switched to a Noodler's Nib Creeper for a while when I discovered Noodler's. Meh. Then I got a nice pen. I got this Pilot Custom 823. That was a daily writer for a while, but for reasons I'll talk about in the rodeo, that didn't work out. And I finally settled on the Lamy 2000, and yeah, that's my baby for daily writing. Still is, although there are other pens I think I could enjoy. So the Lamy 2000, fine. I told you I'm on the search for a new black. I still have Noodler's black left over, and that has turned out to still be in the running. Noodler's black. There are a lot of things I like about it, a few things I don't. Although this pen kind of deals with a lot of the things I don't like. This pen, I tried Noodler's black in the Pilot Custom 823. That was a fail. The bubbles would form here, but the ink was too viscous, so the bubbles couldn't rise, so the feed would starve. Now, what I do have in this is another strong contender. I really enjoyed this ink, and I had it in a couple pens. It's not permanent like the Noodler's black, but it is nice, and I do have a fine nib in this. This is Aurora black. Aurora has only just now added a third color to their line of inks, so I think that means they know what they're doing. And my last pen for tonight is the Parker Vector. Will not be my daily writer ever again, but it was for a long time. This, in fact, several decades. This is a fine point, and the ink in it is Parker Quink. Quink is actually very well behaved on most paper. The reason I've lost interest in it is if I'm writing with black, I want black. And it's more of a very dark gray. Alright, so those are the pens I'm using. Now I want to just address a couple other things. I showed you in my random talkie video, but I feel like I need to do a better job now that I have the document camera, because remember, the document camera was crashing my school laptop, so it won't be filming the physics videos with the document camera. I'd thought about doing that, but I'm using my personal computer. Anyway, I keep swatches of inks that I try. They no longer make these, but I really love these, so when I run out of these, I'm going to have to search for something new, and I've gotten some suggestions already. What I do typically is I just write the name of the ink. I write what pen it is. Most of these are Aurora and Klingner glass pen, just so it's all consistent. There are a couple of my early ones that are not. And the date, I don't know why I put the date, but I do. And then I do a nice swatch of the ink. And, you know, I've got all kinds of different inks in here. This is just one. And I'm just opening pages at random here. I organize them alphabetically. Here's the end of the alphabet one. You know, my reds. A lot of these I'll buy a sample and I don't like it. This one I wish I'd bought a sample, because it's too pale. Here's another one that was a sample, thank goodness, because I'll bet you can't even see it. And then, of course, I have quite a lot of samples of black ink over there. And I've got all but... Oh, wait, that's the one I just showed you, sorry. I've got all but the last three in it. I have 3 more black inks over there I need to put in. But, you know, Noodler, or I don't know why I wrote Noodlers. It's just plain Mont Blanc black. Oh, yeah, there's a Mont Blanc black, so I should fix that. Parker Quink, bookbinders, you know, and so on. So anyway, that's how I do my inks. Gross noise. That's how I do my inks. I will, I want to do a video where I talk about my black inks that I tried. I'm not going to ink up that many different pens. Just to show you all of them writing. I don't even know if I have enough pens to ink them all up. Plus, I don't have all these blacks. But I mean, that's how thick my stack of black ink is. So that gives you an idea. Not all of them tried for this latest try for a black ink, but you know. So that's that. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you, which I did bring up last week, but this week I can actually show you. I mentioned a book that got me into North Dakota, interested in it since I was a little kid. This is it. Lois Lenski's Prairie School. I believe she's also the artist, because she was a children's book artist. I've seen schools that look like that around here. I think I've even driven you by some. Takes place in the very early 50s. The copyright date is 1951. And it's just kind of, I told you the whole story in my whole talking video with the blue preview, so I won't go through that again. But I wanted to point out a couple of little things. One is, this takes place actually very near where I live now. You'll notice in her foreword, she talks about, She talks about McLaughlin, South Dakota in May of 1950. I live up the road from McLaughlin, South Dakota. I mean, it's not a long drive. I could get you there in, well, it'll take more than an hour, but I could get you there. She has this nice map of South Dakota, so that's probably why I couldn't find it, because I was searching for the wrong state. But Corson County is where McLaughlin is located. McLaughlin is pretty near the North Dakota state line. It's up here somewhere. It's along the railroad tracks. In fact, the route I would take to get to McLaughlin pretty much parallels the railroad tracks. Sometimes one side, sometimes the other. You'll also notice Fort Yates Indian Agency. Yes, that's on the reservation. You go up here. The protests that got North Dakota famous take place just off the reservation right around there in kind of a contested area. So the pipeline crosses up here somewhere, the Missouri River. You follow this road. This is the railroad, but like I said, the road pretty much parallels the railroad. I live kind of in this corner of North Dakota, southwestern North Dakota. And anyway, it's just kind of interesting that I ended up that close. Now, she didn't set the book in McLaughlin. She set it a ways north of it, but still, it's just kind of interesting. And, you know, you look around the book, and she has pretty cool illustrations. I mean, there is a 98-year-old man. No, he's 99 now. I take that back. 99-year-old man who talks about experiences like this. He grew up here. He still lives on the ranch where he grew up. Let's see, what else in here some of the illustrations struck me. He talks a lot about the horses. He used to be quite the horse guy. County fair. You know, the family. You look at these houses from back then, I mean, oil lamp. They weren't living that cute 1950s life of Leave It to Beaver in this part of the world. Maybe in, like, Bismarck and stuff, but, you know, outside the cities, they were not. This 99-year-old man, I was talking to his daughter. We had his 98th birthday party at the house where he grew up and then raised his own family. His daughter remembers as a girl, they had batteries in their basement that were charged off the windmill, and she pointed to the windmill. It's still there. They did eventually get electricity, but it was a long time. And, you know, she's in her 60s. Just so many things that just ring true to me. So, yeah, I don't live in this world, although it was quite a winter we just had. Yeah, I just so happy, and I want to thank you again for pointing out this book to me, those of you who identified it for me. And tomorrow I will be driving up to Bismarck for a class after school. It's a Saturday class, but I got a motel room. And, well, okay, I'll be honest. I'm in Bismarck. I may not actually do much reading, but I'm going to take it with me to read. We'll see what actually happens Bismarck nightlife Friday night. But, yeah, the laptop was repaired. I drove to Rapid City to get it fixed. The business was closed, for good, apparently. So I ended up mailing it off to a place in Houston, Texas, where it was repaired. They got it back to me pretty quickly. While I was in Rapid City after that failure, I did record some video footage just walking around Rapid City. So I may make a video out of that, but I need to put some kind of explanation around it because otherwise the audio's not good, and it's just kind of cool to see downtown Rapid City because I do enjoy Rapid City. I just don't get there very often, and I got lost on this trip. So yay! But anyway, that's pens in use for this week. I still have some video footage I recorded from before I sent the laptop off for repairs for my driving video for the next 2 Sundays. And then we'll see if I do any special Monday uploads. I may or may not. With this class, I probably won't have time to film anything Saturday. Actually, April 22nd, I will be taking a group of students to Fargo. We will be doing our State Science Olympiad. That'll be interesting. It's about 6 hours to get to Fargo and another 6 hours to get back. And it's possible we won't get a school bus, so we may actually have to take a minivan and a little microbus, and that'll be an experience, and I'll have to drive for 6 hours, and another 6 hours back. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. I probably won't do the dash cam if that's the case, but we'll see. I mean, it's all interstate the whole way, so it's not that beautiful of an interstate anyway, so we'll see if I even bother with the dash cam on that. But I might take some video footage just walking around the NDSU campus while I'm there for Science Olympiad, because I'm not competing. I'm done at that point. That's all up to the kids. I just wander around and do whatever it is you do on an NDSU campus and just keep a vague eye on my students who are all over the campus, so I can't really keep an eye on them anyway. So I may actually give you a small video tour of at least part of the NDSU campus. We'll see. So anyway, things to come. After April 22nd, my life will become a lot more free. I'll get back into those vintage pen reviews because I have to do a lot more research for those. It's not just my impression. I actually try to look up a little history of the company. So I will be looking forward to that. And yeah, I haven't had that kind of free time really since November. So good deal. So I hope that was interesting. Hope it was useful. And I will see you later. Bye-bye.